Then at-tadabbur, reflection upon the meaning of the Holy Quran. It's very important. Al-buka wa tabaki. Another important manner you should always put on when you recite the Quran is al-buka. Shed tears. You cry when you recite the Quran. Out of what? Out of piety. Not that you should deceive yourself or you deceive people. They should think that you are crying, but you are not crying. Of piety, shed tears from the beautiful instructions, from the beautiful messages you go through in the Quran. What tabaki? And if you can't cry, at tabaki, that is, you should speak, you recite as if with the voice, with the voice of cry, like you are crying, not in order to arouse the minds of listeners or the audience, but of what? Of piety, to show to Allah that subhanahu wa ta'ala, that subhanallah, you reflect upon this meaning, you are reciting with what? With piety of Him. Also, al-jahru bil qira'a idha lam yu'dha musalliyan aw na'iman aw qari'a. You recite the Quran loudly. If reading it loudly is not going to hurt or inconvenience people around you. You imagine where someone is sleeping, trying to take relaxation, then you pick up the Quran and you start shouting, disturbing his rest. Subhanallah. You don't say because you want to earn reward, you want to recite the Quran, then you start disturbing the peace of others. You don't disturb people's peace. Don't disturb their peace of mind. If you do this, you are sinning on the other way. So you should always apply wisdom to whatever you do. In as much you want to earn reward, be very careful not to end up in any sin. Al-qira'a fil mushaf li'anna an-nadhara fihi ibada. Also, another etiquette is when you recite the Quran, you should cogitate the habit of reading, holding the Quran, looking into it, reciting from the Quran. You hold it. This is not to justify that there is no perfect hafiz. So even if you are hafiz, if it is tartil, at-tilawa, if it is tilawa, your recitation you want to embark on, open your Quran and read therefrom, because another fil Quran ibadah. Looking into the Quran while reciting it is an act of worship. It's an act of worship. Another etiquette we are going to mention is Allah yatakallama fi athna'il qira'a ma'a ahad illa li darurati mulha. You should, when reciting the Quran, you are reciting the Quran, you should not engage in other discussion with people. Don't engage in argument with people. You are reciting the Quran and there are some friends of you besides you discussing issues. While reciting the Quran, then you jumped into them. You join them in their discussion, then you go back to what you are reading. No, it's not done that way. You could imagine reciting the Holy Quran, tilawatul Quran, ibadah. Recitation of Quran, it is what? It is act of worship. You need to concentrate on the Quran. And if you need to share opinion or you share wisdom in what they are discussing, so you end the verse you are reciting. Close your Quran, attend to them, and when you are done with them, you come back to your Quran. Allah yadhaka wa la ya'bath. When reciting the Quran, you don't laugh at people. You don't laugh at messages contained in the Quran. So you should not mock anyone. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala please assist us and grant us the benefit of this series. Once again, my beloved brothers and sisters, as a true Muslim, when you recite the Quran, you need to cogitate the manners we have mentioned. These are enough to prove towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are a Muslim with good manner, following the path of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم.